So thank you again for meeting with me. I'm super excited about this job offer, and I'm really looking forward to discussing and cranking out all these details, and hopefully moving forward. It does seem like a great job, especially coming right out of my MBA. I worked really hard for that. And so yeah, I do know that I want to get started on the salary just to like jump into things.
Of course.
And so I'm really looking to stay around that 75 to 70 to 75 range, especially since, just coming out of the MBA, I want to pay off that debt. And so, yeah, I'm wondering how you all feel about that going into this.
Of course, and I would first like to congratulate you about coming out of the MBA program. That's absolutely fantastic, and no one's more deserving of it.
I appreciate that.
We appreciate we appreciate your offer, but unfortunately, because this is an assistant vice president position, we aren't looking to go as high as that. In fact, we were thinking while people may have alluded to around 60,000, we were thinking closer to like 55,000 for a starting base salary.
Gotcha.
Which clearly is a disparity between the two between our two thought processes.
Right.
So we're willing to negotiate, but that is where we were starting from a point of jump off.
Gotcha, no problem. And so I do have a quick question. I'm just wondering about other similar positions in the role. Have there been any other recent hires, or is this something that you're looking to like continue to fill? I just really want to get a feel for the atmosphere and the environment, what's going on in these type of senior product manager roles.
Of course. So we actually have a couple other people in the assistant vice president position, just like yourself. We have been hiring we've been hiring the assistant vice presidents for research and development, which have been a little bit closer to the starting salaries we've been talking about. But because that was also that has specialized technical backgrounds and a lot of specialized training, we tend to award more pay other than just general list marketing VPs, assistant VPs, which is why we're offering the salaries that we are.
Right.
So currently, while we do have a couple of other candidates for this position, this is the only position we're hiring for.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Thank you for the transparency as well. I really do appreciate that.
Of course.
I'm really glad that you mentioned, that 75 range is for that assistant VP of R&D, which completely makes sense. But I am looking to, reap the benefits of, what I just went through, which is the MBA. I'm really, wanting to level up. I do have another offer from my old company. They're looking to bring me back, but I am much more interested in joining Ajax right now. You guys are really leveling up. You're doing very well, as you already know. But I do want to, maximize my earnings. They are currently offering around that 60-65 range. So just, wanting to level up from that. I did go get my MBA, so I want to, try to progress and keep learning and growing. So is there any way we could do something around that 65 to 70, or maybe try to, negotiate that, or even, I'm willing to cut back on the benefits or anything, just wanting to see what we can really do to get me as close as that, to that 70, 75 as we can.
Of course, yes, that would definitely be a great point of negotiation. We can definitely come closer to more that $65,000 range if we were to maybe lessen the benefits. Right now, we would currently be offering something around, we were thinking in terms of benefits, more like 5%, but of course there was room to negotiate up or down depending on whether location, first of all, but also on whether or not what the salaries were going to look like. So I would say that we could definitely get to that $65,000 range. What were you thinking in terms of benefits?
Benefits, yeah, definitely okay with taking a cut if we can get that closer to 70. That 5% is not too bad, but I was, just looking around that 10%. So it would be a bit of a cut in half. So if we could do anything, probably 8 would probably be where I'd want to be. But I do know, it probably does depend on location. So maybe we should just, probably jump into that and bring that into the conversation. I do have a little bit of a hint that I will be in that corporate office in New York, but I'm not too sure what's really going on. Is there any clarification on that right now?
Yes, so right now for the Razor project launch in general, we're usually going to have our assistant VPs in Trenton, which I know is not an ideal place in general. We don't want to put you somewhere where you're not comfortable, but without making any kind of confirmations or promises, I can say that there would definitely be an eye towards maybe moving some of the assistant VPs towards San Francisco, which is an office we have. But our main goal would be having you guys at the Trenton office.
Gotcha. And so that San Francisco, something I'm super interested in. Very glad to hear that you mentioned that. Kind of perking up right now. So with San Francisco, let's say that is where, we are, looking towards. As far as salary, I probably want, still around that 65 to 70 if we could, but benefits, I'm still looking to do like 8, especially with San Francisco in the future now. I could probably do, I know I still probably want to stay around 8, so just wondering how you're feeling around that.
So I do want to say for sure that San Francisco is not a guarantee, and I want to be completely transparent with you and say that I don't have the authority to make that kind of decision. Right now, as far as I am concerned, you would be stationed in Trenton.
Okay.
But we would try to move you to the top of the candidacy pool for moving to San Francisco if that's a viable option in the future. Now, I don't know if that changes your perception or what you want to do, but I do want to make you informed of that. I still feel like 8% would probably be a little bit too high, but that would depend on the location.
Okay.
Like if we were looking more towards like that San Francisco area, if we were looking more towards like New York or something, we might have to go back a little bit lower than 8% to something a little bit more manageable for our office.
Gotcha. So I know you did mention New York. That is something I'm still open to it. San Francisco would be, the most ideal outcome, but I do understand, no guarantees. So just for guaranteeing purposes, New York is an option, and that is something that I'm fine with. What would kind of be the terms with New York? I'd still be wanting around 7 to 8%, and still around, as close to 70 as you can get. So
Understood.
what could we possibly do to, get this New York move to happen?
I would say we're obviously always advocating for Trenton because that is where we want to launch our base essentially. So it's that one would be something we would maybe be willing to give more benefits for.
Right.
But if New York City is your dead set location, we would like to provide you the most comfortable living space possible, but the living expenses of New York City definitely raise up the prices of what we're allowed to give you what we would give you for benefits.
Right.
So I would say we would probably be a lot closer to that 7.5% in terms of benefits.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for that. I really do appreciate that transparency as well. I understand that Trenton is probably where I need to be, but New York City is probably a better option for me personally. I could be okay with 7.5 as far as benefits, but I'd probably need to be in that 65 and up range for salary wise if we're gonna cut back on benefits from the 10% that I really wanted. So how are we feeling? I'm okay with 7.5, but I probably would need 65 just to be okay with that cost of living.
65. I think that's definitely something that we can do. One thing I would want to, just because this is important to the higher ups in my job, I would like to know, is Trenton versus New York City a deal breaker in terms of negotiations?
Just about.
Just about. Okay.
New York, because I kind of almost started jumping up and down when you mentioned San Francisco, so it does feel like I'm kind of already doing my second choice, and Trenton was really on the list. I'm currently in Philly, so that commute might be a little bit easier, but I definitely would be willing to sell just to go to New York and be in the city, be able to go straight to work. But Trenton's not really on that list, so their office also in New York, so that'd be something that I don't really want to have to figure out that that discrepancy there. So yeah, I think New York would probably be something I'm really leaning towards as important.
Understood, and that is perfectly fine. That's just something that we wanted to double check with you, just because it could vary what the salary would be or what the benefits might be if Trenton was a viable option. Obviously, it's not, and that is perfectly acceptable with us. And I think that we could definitely make it work for what we have here. New York City at 65,000, I think at 7.5 for your benefits would be more than acceptable for the terms and conditions that we've been discussing.
Right, gotcha. Alright, so yeah, New York would be it for me. I think that 7.5 is good. Are we gonna be able to do 65?
I think that 65 is definitely within our range.
Perfect, alright. So I think we are pretty settled. I think I'm just gonna have to, look into selling this house. Being in New York City, don't want to even have to think about dealing with the trains, unless you guys do offer that, but I'm not too sure how that would go over. So I guess the only thing left that I want to hash out real quick would be vacation time. I know, kind of the norm and how my old opportunity was, it was 4.5 weeks. So looking to, basically just mimic that. I do want to, enjoy my work life and my home life, so 4.5 weeks seems about right. And just want to see how you all feel about that.
Of course, and we agree there should be a work-life balance in general. I will say that officially, I can't give you 4 weeks. I can only say that officially you get 2 weeks as an assistant VP. However, this is a little bit of a guarded secret within the company, but you, as an assistant VP, you get about 2 weeks to do optional research and different things like that, which is basically just unofficial vacation time.
Gotcha.
So you would get your total of 4 weeks that you would want, just it probably wouldn't be considered official vacation time.
Gotcha. 4 weeks fine with me. That half week, we'll figure that out. But 4 weeks sounds good. So I think we do have something to settle on here. So we're looking at New York, that 65K salary, benefits we agreed at 7.5, and then I have about 4 weeks of vacation time unofficially.
That sounds